And our first guest is in the waiting room, so we'll bring him on. His name is Prince Dykes, and we have another amazing show this week, of course, like we have every week. He is he has several wears several hats, and he is retired military also with Ron is Ron, but he's not in the army. He's retired Navy. So, Prince, welcome to Black Office Matter TV.
Thank you. Thank you for definitely having me on. Y'all can hear me pretty good and everything, right?
Yeah,
Yes, we definitely can hear you.
we can hear you clearly.
Too loud.
Oh
No,
no, definitely not too loud. Definitely
I'm
not.
just teasing. I'm just teasing you.
I got all the stuff going on, all the good stuff.
Yeah, you have to have all your moving parts working when you do these live shows. So, and our show is live. It's not. It's not.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's live. So when it's live, anything can happen. But we've been
Yes,
fortunate over, and this is all. We'll be
yes.
celebrating 4 years soon.
I can't believe it's been that long.
It doesn't feel like 4 years at all. It went by really fast. So, Prince, you have a new book, and you focus on financial literacy. You have a podcast that you do weekly, and kind of like this. And that's your podcast, video
Focus
or just
on
audio? Financial literacy. You have a podcast, and you need to
Video.
turn your device off.
Can you hear me? I was getting a little feedback.
Yeah, you can't play. You can't have your sound up on your other device whenever device you have on. So,
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it was. I was trying to shit. Well, sorry about that.
That's
But
okay. It happened.
I'm in video and audio.
It's video and audio. Okay. Okay. And you deal with financial topics.
Yes.
And it's much needed. A lot of people don't get financial, they don't grow up getting financial training or advice. And when they become adults, they just kind of wing it and make a lot of mistakes. So, how did you what made you focus on finances as your topic of choice?
Yes. My career started out, if you previously here, I started out as a logistics specialist on submarines. And when I was a scuba diver as well, my path, when they was telling me it was time for me to go to school, they told me it was business, the job field I had in the military. So while I was in the military, I went off and got my associate's degree, bachelor's degree, MBA, all of it. Starting to learn these topics, I started to say, man, why didn't I know about these things? Why nobody told me about this? Like credit and insurance, and why aren't we teaching this to kids? So I instead of looking at the system, telling the system, hey, this is what you should do, whatever, blah, blah, I took it upon myself. And but at the time, he probably was like 2 or 3. His name is Wesley. And we started on YouTube to get in. And in 2015, I wrote the first book titled Wesley Learns to Invest. 2017, Wesley Learns About Credit. Then I did Wesley Learns About Insurance. And now the 4th book comes out about real estate. So these adult topics that no matter where you go at in life, you would need to know these things. In the Global Children Financial Literacy Foundation, where we turn kids into first-time shareholders of stock. And every kid, when they walk into kindergarten, to already have an investment account. So what we do, we take it out, we're grassrooted ourselves, and the kids read through our books on each book, and we turn them into first-time shareholders of stock. So that's kind of like my in a nutshell. And with myself, my for-profit side, I'm a registered investment advisor as well. So it kind of goes hand in hand, adults every day. But then again, I turn around to the kids too and teach the kids, because we're in the business of parenting.
Okay, I don't know if it's just me, but there's a little.
No, it's not. You're buffering, and like every 10 seconds, what you say cuts off, like for a couple of seconds, and then it picks back up. And because we post your interview, we send it to you and we post it. Now our media manager will fix some of this. But do you have another device that you can, because it's buffering. Do you have a phone? Are you on the phone or you on your laptop?
On my phone, I'm on my desktop, but I could switch to my phone to see if that'll be a little bit.
Yeah, because this is buffering.
Okay.
So you're dropping off every.
Is it my audio freezing or is my?
No,
it's
your
your
audio is dropping off. You're not freezing, but your audio is clicking off, like it's dropping.
Let me change out this microphone. It might.
That's probably what it is. It's probably
Yeah, I try that.
Yeah, see, and we can't like every sentence you say, we don't get the whole sentence.
What about now? Can y'all hear me now?
Oh, that's much better.
It happened, but it doesn't happen until you start talking. And I'll let you know if it happens again.
Okay.
No, you're fine. It was just the microphone. When you asked if we could hear you, you sounded perfect.
Got it.
So
Okay.
we did hear what you were saying. So you basically created, I believe you said, a 4-book series.
Yeah.
Each book has a different topic that has to do with money. So you're teaching, Wesley learns investing and Wesley learns about credit. I think it's amazing. I think that the younger we start teaching our kids the value of money, the more that they will start to value it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they'll see money the way it actually is, because a lot of times if you don't teach them that, and even families that have money, if you don't teach your children that money is not just to spend, because some kids just, and they become adults that just think money is to spend. They just spend every dollar they get, and some people they spend more than they get, which means they borrow, or they owe people. You know, they either get credit, no, they owe somebody. You know. Now you still have that other device on because this is a 6-second delay or 5-second delay, so I can hear myself on a delay. So whatever other device you had, you have to turn the sound down.
It shouldn't be. Let me double check.
I don't know which sound, but we'll work with it. I just don't want, because what it does is it steps on what's being said.
Gotcha. I don't want. Okay.
So when it's live, anything can happen. That's
like you sound. I think you sound good right now.
You sound fine. Yeah, the audio's right now, and I just need to turn your device down so it wouldn't be picking up the feedback. So, how long have you had your financial literacy podcast?
Since I officially launched in 2013. So it's been 10 years. Yeah, I started back in 2013.
Oh, wow.
Way before it was cool. Way before it was cool.
Oh, okay. That's really
yeah.
I like that.
Finance wasn't a big topic back then, and podcasting wasn't a thing.
Right.
So, I was there when it was just like, I was just a dude on YouTube, and then it turned into podcasting, and you had to get up, and so it became a thing later on. So, but yeah, I started it right after grad school, 2013.
Okay, so what day of the week do you have is it live or do you tape it?
It's taped. So most of now sometimes I'm sporadic. I have two pieces where sometimes they're interview based, and sometimes I do tutorials, and sometimes I do live market reviews where I go through financial reports, new data reports that come out. It could be, data on the housing market, inflationary reports, consumer price index, things like that. So as of late, I haven't been able to really get to it like I wanted to. As of recently, with the whole book and preparing for this to come out and stuff like that. But that's usually what I do. So I do set interviews, but I do a lot of commentary on current market things too. So.
Oh, okay.
And also too, all of my books, well, it's an animation as well too. It's a cartoon that's out there. Now it's not the best cartoon.
On YouTube?
Yes, yes. So if you just Google in there, Wesley Learns to Invest, you see a couple episodes, and then this fourth book next week we're going to launch an entire new animation as well that goes along with the book because we wanted to attack special needs children. So this fourth book, not every kid can read and comprehend like that. So some kids they can watch and get the message as well. And also, this fourth book is in Spanish as well. So we have an English version, we have a Spanish version, and we have an animation as well. So we've been out here working now. We've been out here working.
Yeah, yeah.
I see. So what inspired you to inspire children to find value in money at such a young age?
My son, Wesley, I became a dad in 2011, and he used to bring all these books home, and the books would be like the cat jumped over the hat, and Susie did the. I was like, man, I'm like, dude, in about a couple years, you need to be knowing about investing, credit, insurance, real estate, taxes, and those things that just, set in my head and say, hey, I want to do it myself. So I was like, hey, Wesley, it was a joke. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was funny, but oh, Wesley learns to invest, right? And then, it started to catch on. I started to catch on. I said, oh, okay, what about insurance? So and started collaborating with people. Then, everything was grassroots. So he's an autistic boy. So
Mhm.
with him, that's why I targeted, hey, let's create an animation because he can watch the animation and know, and I can quiz him on certain things so he can pick up on different concepts like that too. So me becoming a father, that's my only son. So, me becoming a father he inspired me to inspire the world.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And our children do serve as the sources of inspiration for many
Is he
things.
teaching his friends about money now?
He is, I think now he's more catching on to everything that's going on because he started
How
when
old is he now?
now he just turned 13 now.
Okay.
So in the last couple of years, he's like, hold on, wait, because he's always saw books and images of himself, and he just thought everybody had books, like, oh, this is what everybody does. When we
Oh,
go to
yeah.
school,
That's yeah.
he was like, oh, Dad is talking about me, and he wants me to. But yes, he repeats. He started as a kid repeating everything I was saying. That now it's starting to pick up in his head of things like that. And all the books is a gym, real life gym that he does that I've done with him as well. So in West Learns About Real Estate is really the story of the family purchasing our first home. Us going from and Wesley wanted to know, Dad, we already have a home. We always had a home, but we was renting that home. Now we're
Mhm.
purchasing. And then he becomes intrigued, and then it ties into the first book. We're talking about how buying our first home is an investment. Then, when he learned about West Learns to Invest, then they had to run out credit. Then he learns in the second book, oh, I remember what credit was. Now we have this home, we have to insure it. So he remember, oh, Wesley learns about insurance. So he becomes intrigued about this world of real estate, and he wants to get into real estate. And his mom had to get together and figure out how do we get a kid into real estate? Real estate. We did it. We invested and we did find a way, and it was a real life way that we did that. Hope that our parents follow in the. When people think about real estate, they think about homes and buildings and things like that. But it's another aspect you can do for children at a very young age. At a very young age too. That someone had done for me.
Okay. Now this new book, you were
Mhm.
partnered with NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Davis.
Yes,
To
yes. He, so during my military career, Denver was my last stop. So, I don't know if anybody out there is a Broncos fan, Denver Broncos. He was a Broncos legend that I grew up watching. And at the time I was doing my podcast, I just wanted him to come onto the podcast and we meet at an event he had at the Broncos Stadium. And I had two books at that time. I was writing the third one. And he said, Prince, I want to be in this book, make me a character, put me in this book,
Oh,
things like that. That's what's a tie into the
oh,
Broncos Boys and Girls Club. So now for the fourth book, he called me again. Hey, it's been a long hiatus from my last book to this book. It's been 5 years. So
Mhm.
I had a pretty big break there when
Yeah,
I started to
that
write
is a pretty
again.
big break.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it was a
it
pretty,
happens.
and at the time, it was we turned into giving kids stocks and things like that. And then, we had the pandemic happen. And then also too, the industry now is more receptive of children's financial literacy
Right.
than it was 9, 10 years ago when I very first came out. They're like, what is this? What are you doing? What are you talking about? Now everybody's on the, hey, financial literacy. I'm like, you know what?
I was going to say that your series comes at a great time, because at one time we were saying, oh, let kids be kids, they can worry about money later. But
Hmm.
now there's a bigger move toward our children becoming financially literate at younger ages, and people are more receptive to hearing this information now.
Yeah, when I very first came out, I got a whole lot of. I couldn't get an interview. I couldn't. Nobody was like, "What are you doing?" And investing back in 2015, back in 2014, when I wrote the first book. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's more receptive to it. The books sell more. The books sell more now than they did. So I was like, maybe I need to crank out this pen and come back out and do this all over again. Back out and do this all over again. So Terrell called me and said, "Hey, you know what? I want to do it again. Put me in the book." This time he added his 3 kids into the book as well.
Nice.
Oh,
So
okay.
his kids are Wesley has friends now.
Oh, okay. What's the answer?
Mhm.
Okay. Um, Regarding the NFL, I'm a big football fan.
Oh, so
Um,
you should know Terrell then.
oh, I do. And
Oh, okay.
Yes.
my former, see, I'm a Seattle, not personally, but I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan.
Oh,
And when Russell, I really liked Russell until he left and went to the Broncos. And so then I didn't like
and
him anymore. But now
and
he's going somewhere
I'm a
else.
New Orleans Saints fan,
oh,
and I was saying good riddance to Sean Payton.
oh, get rid.
Well, he was,
I had a chance to run
in
into
sport.
Russell. I did have a chance to run into Russell when he very, very first got here. And he does have the book series. We spoke about it, we talked about all the good stuff like that. And Wesley got a chance to meet Russell. And even though it was a short stay at the time, but yeah, things turned a little left pretty fast in Denver with Russ. So,
Yeah, he did. But you know what? When he was with Seattle, I kept, and everybody kept thinking it was the O line that was the problem.
mm,
And that wasn't the problem.
when y'all Geno
The
Smith looked real
problem,
good.
See,
he,
now we about to have a whole conversation. We're not doing this today, Gwen.
well, he brought up the Broncos. I was just letting him know that yes, we do watch football,
Mhm.
and it doesn't go over our head. And I've been a football fan a long time, a
Yeah, I'm kind
long
of mad
time.
that
I
he
love
didn't
the
think
sport.
who Terrell was.
Mhm.
That's
Oh,
in
okay.
fact,
That's what
isn't it Terrell?
yeah, because some people are like, hey, oh, I'm not a football fan, or hey, I'm not familiar, things like that. So
Mhm.
I have to ask and say, oh, you're Terrell, and so this book he has is him along with his kids and things like that. So us, that's how that can happen, like an organic, meeting, and he liked what we was doing, and hey, I really love these books. I think this is important. Why we don't teach this in the schools? And he said, hey, I want to partner with you on this. So I
I
thought he was
think
joking at first.
you said
Have
what
you?
now?
I said at first I thought he was joking, but then I realized like, oh wow, he's really serious. So we made it happen.
Well, I think it's great because we know at one time athletes didn't have a lot of financial savvy when it came to their money. And we saw more and more athletes who were rich when they were in their prime, and then when they retired, they lost it all. So I think it's great that you were able to partner with an athlete
Mhm.
because it changes the conversation a bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you said, once he opened that door, I don't know how many athletes I met now and done things with or whatever, but they, when you sit down and you listen to their story, it makes a lot of sense. They're like, hey, you're playing, you only your window is so small. You play three,
A
four,
very
five
short window.
years, and
Mhm.
then once you're done, money is going out, no money is coming in. You know,
Yeah.
and you're in your 20s or late 20s and money's going out, everything is going. And if you don't find a way to, and then you try to make a couple investments, they don't really pan out, and you're back to square one, and everybody think you have 10 times more than what you really have. So,
Mhm.
so
Well,
when
half of the money goes to taxes right off the top. So a lot of people don't, they don't, they hear these
taxes, you
big
got,
numbers, but,
mhm,
and then when you're wealthy like that, and like a lot of the athletes, they're like the most successful person in their family. So a lot of times they're taking care of a lot of extended family and immediate and extended family, and it's a lot. And yeah, it's a short window. So 5 years more or less. Some stay longer depending on how much they get hit. That's
how much,
generally
how much,
that's really the position. You know, you
Mhm.
your body runs out. You know,
And every year they're bringing in new people. So
right? That's true too.
you're getting older, new
And the
people are
younger
coming
ones are
in.
faster. The
Hmm.
younger ones are faster. And I'm gonna
Faster,
say
they're
this one
younger.
last thing. Rhonda Russell used to be running for his life, and he was good at it when he was younger. But once he got older, those young players, they could catch him. You know.
I don't know if the players got faster or he got slower. I think it was a mix
Yeah,
of both
one
of
of the
those.
two.
It
Well,
could have been a mix. Well,
yeah.
now
Yeah.
let me ask you this: when you're writing your books, like I said, I love the concept of the books, but how do you take such a huge concept like investments and money? Because a lot of times it flies right over adults' head. So how
Mhm.
are you able to break this down into ways that children can understand?
Um, I start off with my talking points first. What are my takeaways? What do I want you to take away out of this about real estate? What do I want kids to know about this? I want them to know about this, 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 and this, and this. So when I write down my takeaways,
Mhm.
then I try to come up with a storyline of how to, how can I tell a storyline to hit all these topics and explain these topics through the storyline. And it does get difficult to where, some people are like, why would you use the word deductible? And I try to think of another way to dumb down the word deductible or premium. And I say, you know what? Let me just use this word, even though this kid won't know what it means. They don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to plant the seed at the youngest age. They're going to be like, it was something called premium. Why is a 6, 7, 8 year old, somebody third grade talking about premium deductible? But guess what? How many of us can remember something our parents told us that are no longer here? They didn't make sense then. They didn't make sense then. But when oh, I see what you were saying. Oh, we do got food at the house. I see what mom said. Hey, we need to. My mom said, hey, we need to. We know food at the house. We don't need to be doing. So things that you hear now, you plant those seeds to where I know my son is not going to be like real estate. I get it, Dad. It makes perfect sense. But I'm planting those seeds so when you get a little bit older and things start to click for you, you'll start. You'll start. Oh, I get what he was. I get what he was doing. So that's what makes it difficult, getting it down to those topics. But I try to come up with a concept, takeaways, and I don't do what I think is popular. I do what I think is important. So I feel like this is important. This is what you should do, and that's me.
Yeah. Children understand and pay attention to more than we think.
Hmm.
I mean, they really are listening, even though sometimes they act like they're not listening, but they will repeat your words. They'll repeat your words to somebody else. And claim it as their own. The things that you told them, they will repeat it to somebody else. And
Abs-
if they're going to do that, let's let it be something good and positive, because they'll do it if it's negative too. I mean, it
True.
works both ways. But they are sponges, and they absorb and they take everything in. And I think it's great to teach them actual real life information they can use for the rest of their lives at a young age, rather than wait till they're 35 or 40 and then try to figure it
Try
out.
to figure out,
You
hey,
know.
I don't know. We know every kid that walks into kindergarten will need to know about investing, credit, insurance, real estate, taxes, but nobody say anything about it. They
Mhm.
just, in
And they're
America,
mad at them when they don't understand.
exactly. And why would you do that? And the thing in America is the financial system is very lineage based. is if you're lucky enough to have a mom or grandma or auntie was up in an investment account for you and invest for you, good on you. But if you're born on
Right.
the other side of the tracks where you may be in foster, your dad may be I don't know, in jail, incarcerated or whatever, you don't get an investment account. Don't get an investment account. In the face, you can know all about it. You gotta wait until you turn 18 because you don't have a someone to be your custodian. So that's it's those things that, hey, if you have a mom, dad, or uncle who went out and got you an insurance policy, who did things for you, great on you. Hey, sucks to be you. That's kind of how it is now. So our fight is to really level out the playing field, to say go in and say, hey, well, this is what we're going to do. Hey, parents, you go through these reading programs and things like that or whatever, and we're going to turn you to, not only we're going to just give you a book and talk about it, it's going to be tangible that we can look. You're going to get the S&P 500, top 500 companies in America, and to watch it grow. So, yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
age range for your books?
We go from 6 all the way to 76. So, but but it's really 6 to 12. But I think that everybody can
Okay.
get something out of it. But we target 6 to 12. Their audio, their ebooks, their paperbacks, their hardcovers,
Okay.
animations. We try to attack every way that you can absorb.
That's really, really good. I don't know what they teach about finances in the schools at all, but I remember either in fourth or fifth grade, we went to a bank.
Mhm.
I had very forward thinking teachers. They were just outstanding. It was a walking trip. We went on a walking trip to a bank. We went into the bank. They let us go into the vault. And then when we went back to class, we pretended like we were uh, depositing money into an account. It was like, I think we used Monopoly money or something like that.
Mhm.
And all the kids, we learned how to write a check, and that was in fifth grade. So I don't know if they still do that. Teachers had more flexibility. Back when I was in elementary school, they could do a lot more innovative things outside the box. They really had more control in the class. But I hope that many, many thousands of children will get your books
Mhm.
and learn about, and adults, because we can always, continue to learn as we get older, and we might think we know everything. We can always learn something, and sometimes it's something at the kids' level, but we as adults, we're learning it.
Well, we have a minute left, but I don't think we saw any of your books. Do you have any of your
No, do you
books?
have your book handy? Thank you, Ron.
Immediately on me, I think they're probably upstairs. But
You're
Okay.
in your office without your books?
no, I got everybody else booked except mine. I got
Well,
everybody.
the name
I got
of your most
everybody else
recent
booked.
book is
But
well, it's in your name, so you're the author, and you have a kind of unusual name.
I know, right?
So,
Weird name. I was like, man, look at my mom. She really wanted to show out, huh? She wanted.
well, but on the positive side, if somebody goes into Amazon and types
That's
your name in,
they go to
I
see
bet you there's no
Yeah.
other Prince Dykes with books.
or
So,
Google. If you put my name into Google, you'll see a little
okay,
Google guy that looks like me pop up.
okay.
But if you wanna, what it does is when people purchase the books, it's what supports our foundation. So if you go to GCFLF, which is the acronym for Global Children Financial Literacy Foundation, and you can go over there and get the hardcover, the paperback. I think we got the ebooks over there, and we have not all the books. We just got the fourth book in Spanish, stuff like that. Or you can go to Audible, check out the books, follow us on YouTube. You probably see the Audible, the ebooks, the animation. So yes, we're there. So also on top of that too is what supports us to go out and to give stocks. So we'll be at a school tomorrow upstairs. We'll be at a school tomorrow giving out books and stocks to kids. So
Oh,
that's one of the things we do. I want $500 to a child tomorrow, S&P 500 index, and we're going to give out, books there. We're going to give out, books there too. So, and we're definitely appreciative for y'all having us on and reaching out. So I definitely appreciate that.
Well, I
Okay.
appreciate what you're doing for our kids. Thank you so much. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and continued success.
Thank you. Appreciate it.